If you recall, I talked about Cartoon Fridays previously in my last episode of Back to Your Childhood. I talked about how it was my Friday night tradition growing up as a kid and how it was one of Cartoon Network's most successful blocks during their heyday. But there were some moments that always stood out to me, and that's what I'm going to go over today. The most memorable moments of Cartoon Fridays. Now, just a heads up here, I won't be talking about moments from the Fridays revamp because even though I did like Fridays, there weren't anything particularly memorable that stood out to me. And I also won't be talking about Friday Dynamite because, heck, you need a reason. These are just my personal faves. It was tough narrowing it down, but I did my best. So without further ado, I give to you my top 5 favorite Cartoon Fridays moments. Number 5. All the character interactions. This is one of the things I look forward to every show, and in a way, it was responsible for my love of crossovers. Seeing all of these characters from all these great shows hanging out and talking with one another was just incredible to see as a kid. It was so cool seeing Lee Kanker flirting with Dexter, or Johnny Bravo trying to teach Ed and Eddie how to impress ladies, or whatever the heck this scene was. On top of that, the way these characters interacted with each other, it made it seem like they almost like they were a family, a Cartoon Network family, if you will. Either way, it was awesome and one of the highlights each Friday night. Number 4. Johnny and Chicken annoying Double D. This goes to what I said earlier about the character interactions, because it's up to 11 in this. On this particular night, Double D from Ed and Eddie was hosting that night, and throughout the whole night, Johnny Bravo and later Chicken kept annoying him and interrupting him every time he would announce what was coming up next. It was really funny seeing Double D getting annoyed by Johnny and Chicken's antics and lose his cool in the process. Another thing worth mentioning is that this was the night Sheep of the Big City premiered, and Cartoon Network was really building it up, hoping for it to be as successful as Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Courage, etc. But sadly, it lasted for only one season and ended up being one of Cartoon Network's most forgettable shows. The payoff of the joke is pretty weak, but it makes for a good episode and a good choice for the number 4 spot. Number 3. Mojo Jojo hosting. All of the cartoons do a great job hosting, staying in character while also being entertaining. But the best of all has to be Mojo Jojo from the Powerpuff Girls. On this night, Mojo Jojo, of all people, hosted, and he tried to take over Cartoon Fridays, but to no avail. Blossom and Courage the Cowardly Dog served as co-hosts of Sir. Mojo is extremely likable here. He tells awkward jokes, break dances, and even closes the show in an SNL-esque style. Not too much to say about this one, except it has to be seen to be believed. Number 2. Ed, Edd n Eddy and Freddy. Seeing how Double D hosted in his previous CCFs, it was Ed and Eddy's turn. They hosted a night Time Squad premiere. There were a lot of funny moments and one-liners between the two, but the joke that stood out to me in particular was this scene. It starts with all three Eds introducing themselves, and out of nowhere, Fred from Scooby Doo appears. I remember as a kid seeing this and almost crapping my pants from excitement. I also love Eddie's line about how Cartoon Network was basically obsessed with Scooby Doo back then. And if you remember, they aired Scooby Doo a lot. They had marathons almost every day. I guess I didn't mind much because I'm a fan. If there was one thing I don't really like about the scene is the animation. It looks pretty ugly and the characters look off model. But This wouldn't be the last we see of Scooby-Doo on Cartoon Fridays. I could tell you that. Number 1. All the special events. Every once in a while, Cartoon Fridays would do something special, usually around the holiday season. There was the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party, the Christmas party, the tailgate party, and the Big Pig. The Christmas party featured the cartoons having a Christmas party, and it's really funny catching all the references like A Christmas Carol, Charlie Brown Christmas, A Christmas Story, The Grinch, and so forth. And if I remember correctly, they even re-aired this as part of Christmas in July. I think it was in 2001 or 2002. I don't really remember. I also love the Halloween party, where the cartoons were all dressed as each other, and the party gets interrupted by a mysterious guest. I won't give away who it is, but those who saw it know who I'm talking about. Then there's the big game tailgate party. You see, Cartoon Network used to have this event every Super Bowl weekend that was a parody of the Super Bowl, but featured marathons of classic cartoon rivals. Like one year it would be Roadrunner versus Coyote, another year would be Tweety versus Sylvester. This specific year was Bugs and Daffy, and the whole show revolved around the characters having a tailgate party and getting ready for the game. There were a lot of funny moments too, like Johnny and Chicken arguing who was gonna win and Cow cheerleading. It's pretty cool, check it out. And while you're at it, check out the big game too. I'm sure it's still up on YouTube. And the final one is the Big Pick. It was a competition in which animated pilots would be chosen by you, the viewers, to become a new series on Cartoon Network. It was a pretty clever idea putting the future of new cartoons in the hands of the viewers. I know putting ideas in the hands of viewers is risky, but people know what they want to see, and sometimes they can pick up the right choices. A lot of these series didn't get greenlit, sadly, and honestly, it's not that hard to see why. Most of them weren't that good. But the ones that did get picked up, however, were the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Kids Next Door, and the short-lived Whatever Happened to Robot Jones. This was a very clever idea, and I think this will be great too to bring back for some new programming on Cartoon Network. Just a thought. Well, that was my top 5 favorite Cartoon Fridays moments. Did I miss any? What were your favorite moments from Cartoon Fridays? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, I'm 47 Cartoon Guy, and I gotta fly.